Olaf the Moose versus another no-name. Unless the Ogre Kingdoms and Vampire Coast replay comes out after this one, in which case you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm getting a lot of replays versus people with no name. I think it's if their characters in whatever language is native, if their characters are like different enough, they just don't show up on English replays. I don't know what it is. So, whatever. It is what it is. Grand Cathay versus Greenskins. Grand Cathay getting out of their normal boxy formation with a pretty aggressive build. Jade Lancers paired with Onyx Chroman and the Celestial Lion, everybody giving each other harmony. We have a Celestial General, interestingly enough, Celestial General on a Longma, not on his War Lion, Celestial Lion, whatever. He has a Sweep, Lord of Grand Cathay, and Brass Cleaver, so he offers a lot of buffs and debuffs for his people. Grace is coming? Nope. He's doing something else. Cool. Then we have a Astromancer on horseback. His Cloak of Pome gets a bunch of Wind's Magic recharge when he's out of melee. Curse of Midnight Wind and Wind Blast for his two spells. Wind Blast. Weird. Some people are trying to tell me the spell's good now. I'm still not a believer, but I'm ready to be wrong about it. 5 Peasant Long Spears and the Grace of Key and Celestial Dragon Crossbow ROR for a frontline butt. Most of the funds of Grand Cathay are in the mobile units. The other side for Greenskins, we have an Orc Boy, Orc Biggin, Orc Spear Boy frontline, some Squig Herds, some Orc Boar Boys, Orc Boar Biggins, Grom the Paunch, and an Orc Shaman with a couple Spider Riders for support. Very simple, straightforward Greenskin build with here we go as the only actual spell. Celestial Lion lands in the middle of all these Orc Boys, and then he realizes this maybe isn't the fight for him, and he tries to fall back. As he continues to path his way through, the Orc Boys and Orc Boar Boys can't seem to figure out how to wrap him up. And I believe they do have attack orders onto him. They're just doing that thing where sometimes you walk alongside a single entity instead of surrounding it and stopping it in place. It's very frustrating when that happens, but the Celestial Lion is going to keep just bounding to safety while surrounded by pigs. CA, if you ever watch this replay, please fix that behavior where single entities can just walk, and like multi-entity stuff will just walk alongside them until they decide to stop and let you hit them. It's very frustrating. So the Celestial Lion gets to safety. That's fine. I'm not mad about that at all. As the Jade Lancers did offer it a safe haven. I mean, they charged in to buy it space to get it back up in the sky. I'm just saying it should have gotten stuck back here. It should not have been freed over here. Spider Rider's still offering a little bit of support. I mean, Grom and the Greenskins are still getting a good engagement here. The Jade Lancers had to sacrifice a lot of HP to get the Celestial Lion to safety, and then they're just kind of constantly getting pursued by the Orc Boar Boys who did catch up to them. And if there is a Wa anytime soon, all 3 of these Jade Lancers will die. Peasant Long Spears and the Empress Chroman, though, diving on these Orc Boar Boys is going to be a pretty bad time for them. They're only 650 gold calves, so you don't exactly expect them to hold forever, with only 29 melee defense because Grom is nearby, otherwise it was 24. They're not going to hold for much longer. Spider Riders and Orc Boar Boy Biggins taking out these Jade Lancers is good, and something is getting cast here. I'm guessing it's Curse the Midnight Wind. Yes, it is. Orc Boar Boys Terror out, and here's a tricky thing. So I don't get to see this used very much. It removes immune to psychology. Like, a good number of units in Warhammer 3 have been given that, but I haven't really seen it useful in a lot of things. This is one of the rare times it is. So Grom's main strength is that he gives immune to psychology whenever he is just nearby, and Greenskins with ITP, especially Trolls, is pretty huge. But the Celestial Lion removing that ITP is really brutal. So I just wanted to point that out because I thought that's cool. That's the first time I've seen that theory-crafted interaction really start working. So nice. Big thumbs up. Meanwhile, Celestial General snipes out the Orc Shaman, and there is an entire flank fight we haven't been paying attention to because it wasn't really the main course. But we do have some Orc Boys and Orc Boar Boys getting a Wa buffing them up while they fight those Jade Lancers and Peasant Horsemen. But Grand Cathay put most of their forces over here. Greenskins put most of their forces over here, so I'll also put most of my focus over here. Now, the Orc Shaman getting sniped out is pretty bad. Orc Boy Spears are trying to get around that Celestial General and offer a little bit of support. The Grace of Kian continue to fire in on top of the Orc Boys. But the Greenskins have a lot of infantry compared to Grand Cathay, so I'm hoping some of their infantry just path straight onto the Grace of Kian and shut those guys down for a little bit. Put them under pressure. Don't let them keep fighting. I don't want to see any 2v1s in the Peasant Long Spears. I just want to see you really harassing the Grace of Kian. Orc Boy Spears trying to stop the Celestial General, but he isn't taking too much damage as he just forces his way through those guys. And Grom gets a fight with random Jade Lancers, trying to finish them off, maybe bait the Celestial Lion back onto the ground as we have a big old surround over here. Onyx Chroman just in the middle of as many greenskin bodies as you can get. They are a demonic type unit, kind of, sort of. So if you can get their leadership just a little bit lower, they will crumble away, but it looks like that is a long time coming. Since fully surrounded and taking that much damage, they still have 18 leadership. It seems like they're going to be just fine. Harmony is a hell of a drug for those Onyx Crowmen. Hey, let me see. Gives them 4 more leadership, yeah. Orc Shaman still dying to the Celestial General. Bounce power still pretty even, slightly greenskin favored. The capture point has not been conquered by anybody. And we do have some Orc boys getting into the backline, though it seems like they're getting easily distracted by Peasant Long Spears. And then these ones are going to go fight other Peasant Long Spears. So the greenskins taking some honest, honorable 1v1s that they really don't need to be. And then this pileup is just too many units, unfortunately. Like, they eventually got the Crowman, but this is a lot of units that, again, could have been used. 1 or 2 of these light cavalry could be running back here and harassing the Grace of Kian. Curse the Midnight Wind is out to lower Grom's melee defense, melee attack and armor, I mean. We do have Orc Boar Biggins hit with the immune to psychology removing roar, and Grom shows up too late to save them, and his immune to psychology doesn't help anyway. He did offer other leadership buffs, and we had Morgan's Major Marauders firing in, so it's not all terrible for the Greenskins, and there we go. Squig Herds, Orc Boys Spears, all getting out of the Grace of Kian. That's going to be a big win for the Greenskins in turning this game in their favor, because that very expensive, very intense elite archer getting sniped out is going to be huge. Celestial General takes the fight with Grom. He is a duelist character, and Grom has pretty bad overall melee stats. He relies heavily on his buffs, debuffs, AoE buffs for his friends, and then healing. Whereas Celestial General, I mean, look, 58-45 versus, okay, he's getting Wah right now, but 40-32. Those exhaustion is hurting him quite a lot on that front. Force Goblin Spider Rider archers turning to fight the Celestial General and help Grom out a little bit. This is usually where Grom thrives, because then he can turn around and he's not the only focus of your attacks, and he's buffing up everyone around him. So Grom is a supportive duelist rather than a raw duelist. He doesn't like to really go it alone. He doesn't like to get into a fight. Celestial Lion helping out some of the last Jade Lancers and stuff, rout off random Orc Boar boys, and the Astromancer is almost dead. Looks like Spider Eyes are going to try and take him out, but they need to be a little careful not to get too involved, too close, where those other horsemen could run over and take them out. Grace of Kian still surrounded, still fighting. 95 armor, 41 melee defense is pretty potent against these Orc Biggins and Orc Boys that are trying to get through them. I mean, they're getting damage down, but not a ton. As Grom the Paunch is still chasing the Celestial General, who has decided that maybe this fight isn't for him. He's going to have a hard time getting off the ground, as Grom is just going to chase him and keep swinging at his backside, though he has missed multiple attacks in a row, which is interesting. And then he peels off, letting the Celestial General get up into the sky. But it looks like he really wanted to go help over here. Once again, terror routes coming through for the Orc Spear Boys, and Grom's going to kill off the Grace of Kian on his own. Morgan's Major Marauders, 3 volleys left. Spider Riders, tons of ammo left, but they're getting into melee to try and rout the Astromancer once more, so we can't use any Wind Blasts or Curses of Midnight Wind or what have you. So the Greenskins still have a good amount of infantry left. They have a decent amount of light cavalry running around, and Grom gets stuck fighting the Celestial Lion, though with Lucky Banner. He is super tanky. With the Great Ends is here and his Lucky Banner, his melee attack is actually super high right now, but he did opt out of the fight while his buffs were still active, so unfortunately some of those buffs going a little bit to waste. Orc Biggins getting hit with the removed immune to psychology, but once it wears off, they get it back, so they won't terror out very easily. We know that Roar is on cooldown for quite a while. Celestial General pushing Grom closer to the Lion, where he could get in a fight with the Celestial Lion and the General at the same time. Does not look to be the case, and he's just going to run for his life. Squig Herds peeling for Force Goblin Spider Riders, still just trying to get rid of these Jade Lancers. Honestly, at this point, we're getting to the spot where Grand Cathay is just routed so many times, they're going to start shattering, because I know that Astromancer's routed twice. He just needs one more. That Jade Lancer looks like he's routed quite a few times, so I'm curious if he'll shatter right before our eyes. And the Grace of Kian still somehow firing, even though there's all these units trying to stop them from doing so. They still find the time and the space to get a little bit more out. Orc Boar Biggins get a lot of value onto the Celestial General, but his sweep nukes them and gets rid of them very quickly. Wow, that was a hell of a Celestial sweep, and now Grom is in big trouble. He knows Lucky Banner is on cooldown. Those Jade Lancers routed, they did not shatter, so again, Squigs are gonna have to take their time chasing them and all that yada yada. Very annoying for them. The Grace of Kian refused to rout, and with that, they have been providing harmony for all these melee units, because I think they're the only yin unit around here. Everything else is yang. So just because the Greenskins can't get rid of those guys, they are suffering quite a lot in the damage value department, as Grom throws down the Axe of Grom, sundering armor and doing extra damage onto the Celestial General, down to 60 armor for that guy. Grom's getting very, very low, though. The Greatens is here, is out, extra leadership and melee attack, but he takes too much damage. He might just rout, maybe. Big damage on the Celestial Lion. Fearsome Roar is here. Immune to psychology is removed, so Grom himself is going to terror out, which he has never done before. There's a first time for everything, is everybody is terror outing away from the Celestial Lion that is currently running for its life. And the Celestial General is trying to break out of all these Orc boys so he can go chase down Grom the Paunch. The Orc boys are not able to lock him in place, so he can just get up in the sky. The Grace of Kian are like literally unbreakable, I guess, as Grom is running away. Now that General should be able to catch him. He is regenerating, but the General will get in range and then just, you know, make sure he never rallies, so his regeneration doesn't matter as much. But the Greenskins might be able to win this before Grom dies. It can be hard for characters pursuing chariots to do much. This sometimes just T-pose on them. So the Greenskins could theoretically route everybody besides the Celestial General, and then when he comes back, maybe they can all together beat him. As the Morgan's Magic Marauders have no ammunition left to shoot at the Celestial Lion, but if they're microed well, they can just follow it off the map. No, do not let it come back. Okay, they lost. GG. Greenskins lose. Celestial Lion was allowed to come back, so now it's going to just dive in and terror bomb everything. Because it was terror bombing stuff with Grom around with his various leadership buffs. So if Grom's dead, the whole army takes a leadership debuff, and then you're going to have a -8 roaring terror piece just murdering you all. That's going to be GG. Force Comet Spider Riders rally for a moment. They are trying to shoot the Celestial Lion enough to get it to rout, but it gets a charging leadership bonus. So it's going to be fine for now. Probably rout off the Morgan's Magic Marauders, and then it gets a leadership bonus for nearby enemies routing. Some peasants are trying to get their crap back together. Greenskins are forming up on the point to capture that, but you have to capture it, and then I think you have to hold it for almost, I think it's 11 minutes. 650 tickets, you know. No, that's about 11 minutes. Grom's off the map. All of a sudden, white flags start appearing for all the Greenskins, and that's before the Celestial Lion even gets near them. That is just going to be GG. A couple little mismanagement problems for the Greenskins in the late game there. It was a very close game. There were some silly things, like he wrapped up that Celestial Lion in the early game with his Orc Borobiggins, and it just walked through all of them and didn't take any damage, got to safety. Sure, that's ridiculous, but there were some misplays in the late game that could have been avoided. And the Celestial Lion just wins it out. Damn. Good game overall. Good game overall. Grace of Kian did fine. Peasants did fine. They were peasants. I'm still a little underwhelmed from the Astromancer, honestly. Celestial General did very well. Jade Lancers did fine. Onyx Crowman did fine. Celestial Lion did great. That's a GG for No Name. He let his caster get sniped early, which was also a bit of a problem. Grom got a lot of value. Orc Boys and Orc Biggins didn't get a lot of true value, but they were disruptive and annoying, and they chased a lot of stuff, so that's what it is. Squigs did well. Orc Boys and Orc Biggins mixed value. Some did great, some did not. And the Skirmish Cav all did pretty well. GG.
Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.